Okay, we continue from where we left off. Building our hospital management system in Django. The last time we created our root folder and then activated our virtual environment, which was a container where all our installed apps for the project will be kept or maintained. And then we installed Django, which will be kept inside our virtual environment for us. Since Django was installed, we could now use Django admin, start project, and then our project name in our case was hospital. We seeded into the hospital or the project name we created, and then we did python manage.py start app, then the app name, where I said the app. So apps in Django simply just a way of you organizing your project according to apps so that it will be more simple for you to manage your project. And then we register our app inside installed apps, and then we wrote our first model using classes, and where we had our doctor class, our patients class, and then appointment class. Where I said classes in Python simply mean you creating versions of your own things. So we created versions of a doctor, and then we migrated everything into our using python manage.py make migration, which created migration files, and then python manage.py migrate, which now push the migration file into our database. So if you are here, then congratulations. And if you are just starting and you've missed the first video, go back, watch the first video, and then just jump on this one. But if you don't want to jump into the previous video, it's still okay, because I'll still be explaining everything as we still go on. So if you're excited, please hit the subscribe button, like the video, and share with whoever you think the video might be helpful to. So let's jump straight into the code. This is PyCharm is open, and this was where we left off the last time. This is our models.py. So today, since we've already migrated everything into our database, we will now want to access them inside our administrator or administration panel. When we're starting the video, Django, in this wonderful ways as usual, made a admin.py where all the code we put here, we can now view it inside our admin panel and make our adjustments or add whatever that we want to add. So today we'll be adding things to our admin panel, or we'll be adding our models. We'll be adding all this inside our admin panel so that we can be able to access the doctor class, the appointment class, and then the patient class. So if you're excited, let's move along. So since everything is migrated into our database, we'll now close our models.py and then open up our admin.py. And admin.py, it doesn't take much, no plenty code, unless you want to organize it, and which we'll be doing later in the future. But this time, just to access your models, you just import your models. As you can see here, Django has again imported for us admin from their side, which is from django.contrib import admin. It means that we can now use admin commands from Django to do a lot of things. And this time we are now going to import our own model. We are now going to, as Django did this, we're also going to do the same thing by importing our models.py. And this is how we import files. You just say from dot. When you see a from dot, it means that that's the current folder, because we are still in our clinic app, and that's a folder. So dot models import, it means that from the current folder, this current folder, we now move to models.py, and then we import our doctor class, our patients class, and then our appointments class. So explaining it again, from our current model, which the dots mean, from our current models.py, go through models.py and then bring out doctor class, patient class, and then appointment class. Now this means that we cannot access anything inside our models.py in our admin.py. That's the same way we can access admin commands which Django has given us. So for example, you can now type doctor dot. Now you can see when I did doctor dot, you can now see the commands which we made in the doctor model. Country, it means that you cannot access everything about the doctor anywhere in the code, that's by importing it. So that's the same thing importing means. So you'll be using a lot of imports in this project and almost every project you are doing in Python, so that you can use files or commands from other files inside your file without writing almost every code again and again and again. So as they said, Django uses a dry method, which is don't repeat yourself. So that's one trick you should be doing. Don't repeat yourself. So everything has been optimized for you. So we've now gotten our classes from our models.py. So we now want to see these classes or these models inside our admin panel. So this is the simple code you just have to write. Just one line of code for each of them. That's admin, which Django has given us. Admin dot site dot register, and then you now put in the class name. What this code simply means is we want to access our admin, and then we are saying Django, please register our doctor class inside your admin panel. That's as simple as it is. Django, register our doctor class in your admin panel. Simple. So we'll do the same thing for these ones, for our patient and appointment, saying, hey, admin dot site dot register, meaning Django, please register our patients inside our admin panel so that we can be able to see or optimize or do whatever I want to do with patients. And now for appointment, admin dot site register, meaning please Django register appointment model or appointment class inside your admin panel. So now these are all available now in your admin panel, as easy as it is. You now have a beautiful admin panel that will be accessing very soon. But that's not all. To access, for example, let's take this. To now move into your browser or to now access things inside your browser, as we be using, as I said earlier, we'll be using manage.py in almost every command that we will put in our command line or in our terminal. So we just type Python manage.py run server. So this run server will now put in all your will now bundle your project and now put it inside your developmental or your development browser using localhost. Okay, so enter. This will run in just a few seconds and then it's up and running, which will open our, in just a few seconds it will be running. it doesn't take as long as this. My computer is a little bit slow today, so let's just run faster. So let's just wait a little while and to run. So as it's still about to run, okay, that's quick review. Today we want to access our models inside admin.py, and to access all this code inside your admin.py, instead of doing the same thing again, instead of writing every single model like this again in your admin.py, we'll use imports. We will use imports to import them from models.py, and then we now say admin.site, which simply means please Django register the classes in models.py inside your admin panel so that we can be able to access them. Okay, so now our terminal and our local host is up and running. Our development server, which is this. So we now open up our browser and then access it. Okay. Okay, it's loading up. It's a little bit delaying, but I hope in the middle of everything to speed up. So if you're here right now, you've really done it. So hey, kudos to that, and let's go on. So now our development server is up and running. Okay, this is how beautiful Django has made it for us. Now we can now do anything inside our browser, just as we'll be doing it live, or as we'll be pushing it to the production or deployment. So now, how do we access our admin.py, or how do we see our admin.py? How do we see our admin.py, which we did in our project? It's simple. You remember, excuse me, you remember inside this folder we had urls.py, which I said in the previous video is that there are paths which we'll be using in our browser as links or other things. So here Django has already made admin.py, which I mentioned earlier for us, which we can access by using /admin to access the admin panel. So this is how it works. So I'll go back to the browser and now type /admin from the search engine. Okay, Chrome is okay. Admin, and then enter. This is the first URL, or the URL Django has already made for us by making a beautiful admin panel for us. And now to access your admin panel, they will be asking you to enter in your username and then your password. But for now, you'll be asking yourself, so where is the username and password? How do you access it? It's simple. To access or to use to use your admin panel, you just go back to your code editor, and now inside your terminal you cd to now cancel the development server from running, and now you type this code: Python manage.py create super user. Now you see how simple again Python codes are very simple to read. You are saying Python manage.py create super user, and now Django will create super user for you. They're telling you username. The username you just use as a super user, as the admin of admins. Username, you can put in any username you want, but and they're telling you leave blank to use your computer's username, and in my case it's just Emmanuel, so I'll be leaving it as Emmanuel. And then email address, I'll just say either Emma at gmail.com. This, or let me just say 123. The email address here is not important, so you can decide to ignore it. And now your password, let me just say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and then enter. And now they're saying your email address is easy or too common. Create anyway. Yes, I don't mind because it's just for testing. And now since our super user is now created, since we've now created an admin to access our admin panel, let's now run our development server again. And you guess it, what should I write? Python, let's go, Python manage.py run server to run your development server, and enter. We go back to our browser. Okay, beautiful. So now the username you created as a super user, you just type it here. In my case it was Emmanuel, and then the password you chose. Can I remember the password? It was 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and then we now log in. You tap login to log in. Okay, if you've gotten a forbidden in any distance, just go back, refresh, and it's done. It won't happen again. Just go back, refresh. If they ask you to enter your email, your username and password again, just do it and it won't happen again. Okay, now see how beautiful the admin panel looks. Now you can access anything here. You can add as many users as you want. You can add groups. You can do anything as an admin here. So Django has given you full control of every single thing. So here you can add in any user you want, give the user a password, and send it to the user, and then the user also become an admin, or the user also become a member of your website or a member of your hospital management system. So let's continue. You remember when we told Django admin.sites. When we said admin.sites register doctor, which we intend saying, please Django register our doctor class or our doctor model inside your admin panel so that we can be able to see it and modify it or anything. This is what happened. Django has made it for us. Now see how beautiful it is. This is the clinic app we've created because we registered it inside our project in settings.py. You remember the installed apps. See how beautiful it is. If it wasn't installed apps, you wouldn't have been able to see it here. So always register your apps you've created inside installed apps in settings.py, and see under it, see what we've written in our admin panel: appointments, doctor, and patients. Now you'll be wondering, why are there S at the end of all of them? Because there weren't S's. Okay, I just got a message, it wasn't showing. Okay, this is what is happening. Okay, let me just, because we registered our apps, or our clinic app inside installed apps in settings.py, that's why we're able to see it here. Okay, clinic. And because we now wrote code inside our admin.py, that's why we are able to see appointments, doctors, and patients. The reason why you are seeing S in front of, or you are seeing them in plural forms, is because Django has S in their admin panel. But to remove the S or the plurals in your admin panel, you just write verbose name, a plural verbose name, and then you are good to go. Okay, so when we open our doctor here, see what's happening here. Now Django said there are 0 doctors right now, so let's add a doctor. So you add doctor by tapping on that. You can add a picture if you want. So let's add a picture. Choose a file. So you choose a file to add a picture. Okay, to take note, these are all the fields we've written in Django models.py. Check this out. Just check this out, okay? Check this out. In models.py, doctor, in our doctor class, check this out. We had picture, phone number, home address, country, user, status, and employment dates. See what's happening here too. Let's get back to our Chrome. Now see, we have our picture, our phone number, home address, country, user, and status. Just see how beautiful it is. Now that's how to show that, or to know that anything or any field you list in models.py is being added to your database and being added to your admin panel too. So if you want anything, if you want to define anything for a class, or for anything inside your project, just write it inside your models.py, and then everything will be for the particular model you are creating. So we've added our picture, and then the phone number, let's say +9. Okay, let's say that's the phone number. And then home address, let's say ABC 123, ABC 23, and then country, let's say Canada, and then the user, yeah, I'm a doctor, you know. And then the status, let's mark it true, and then we save it. Is saving. In most cases it will be fast. I don't know why my computer is extremely slow today. Okay, we've gotten an error. Okay, we've gotten an error. Let's see. They said type is string null. Okay, just decreasing things to make the screen more smaller. Okay, a little bit. Okay, let's solve our error that says string return none type user. Okay, let's see. Let's go back to our code. Let's minimize it a little. Okay, we had a string return non-string. That was when it was about to add. So we'll go back to our doctor and then said username. Meaning it didn't, what the error simply meant that it didn't get a string to return because user contained a lot of fields, and a lot of all, as I mentioned, user contained emails, username, first name, so we just referenced. So here we just referenced user, which Django didn't know what to return. You get it? Django didn't know exactly what to return. It didn't know whether to return an email or a phone number or a first name. So we use username. Django return username to prove that this is the username for the doctor you've created. Okay, so let's go back to our terminal. It will load up, automatically loads up. You go back to let's go back to our browser. Okay, our browser is now here. Let's go back and then we save it again. Now see how beautiful it is. See the username. Now Django knows that, hey, Emmanuel was the username. Let me return Emmanuel. So if I had said, if in the code we had said string, in the code we have said self.user.email, Django would have returned email address. For example, let me say email. Okay, now it automatically loads up. Let me refresh. Now see how beautiful it is. Django knows that, hey, let me return email address to show that this is the email address of the doctor we've created. So when we click on the email address, we should get that doctor's information. Okay, so when you want to return something, okay, I wasn't. Now see how beautiful it is. Django gives us a beautiful email address instead of the user's name. So if you want to return something in Django admin or Django's project, inside the admin panel or to the user's listing, self.user username, email address, and a lot of user. As I said here in the first video, the user class here gives a lot of functions or a lot of fields and classes, so we can access a lot of them. So at first we use username, user.username, which Django returned username, and now we changed it to user.email, and Django returned an email address. So we send it back to username because that one is more easy readability. User name, and then our terminal will run it automatically. we go back to our browser. Now see the magic that's about to happen here. Just check out the magic. We said username. So the div, so this div, this function here, this function here is telling Django that, hey, we've created the thing, or we've created the doctor, we've created the model. Now we need something to represent it out there, so that anytime we know that, hey, this is the name of the model, or this is what is representing the model, we can now click on it and then view the details. So that's what is happening here. So we said Django, give us the end product of user, and inside user we have a lot of fields. We have emails, username, first name, and a lot of fields there. But we said Django, give us the username. At first it was Django, give us the email address. Now we are saying Django, give us the username. So let's get back to our browser. So I'll refresh, and you see the magic to happen here. Refresh. Just look here. Oops. Oh, okay. I made a mistake. Instead of username, I said surname. So I'll go back to my code and make the change. We don't have surname in user, so it's user name. Our terminal will run it, or will reload it automatically. Go back to our code, and now I'll refresh it. Now we had email address in the field to represent the doctor we've created. Now see the magic that's about to happen here. And magic. Now look at that. Email address, the super user we've created, is now here. So now you see how easy it is to use Django. Very easy. We've created an models.py that had doctor, patients, and a lot of and appointment classes. And now we wrote the appointment classes inside admin.py. We wrote the classes in models.py inside admin.py, and then we registered the app, and now everything is showing up inside our admin.py using our localhost admin.py. Sorry, our localhost, and then admin/admin, which gave us the admin panel, and now we have a doctor created here. See how easy and how beautiful it is. So now let's continue. Let's go back to patient. Let's add patient to our project. User. Okay, we can have, let me create another user, because if the reason why it's giving us only Emmanuel, because it's only Emmanuel who has should I say logged in. Emmanuel is the super user, and he's the only one who has automatically logged in right now alone. That's why you're seeing Emmanuel. But we can add more users so that we can have, because in the future, patients and doctors will be logging in and registering into your hospital management system, so they will not have to be doing all this. But as the admin, that's why I'm seeing all this. So I'll create another user just to make things more easy. Okay, let's say Sarah, and let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and then we confirm the password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9, and then we save it. Oh, it didn't match. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. It's common. 1 2 3. Yeah. Okay, we save it now. Wow. Oh, okay. They said this password is entirely numeric. So I'll just be like 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then A S D F. 1 2 3 4 5 6 A S D F, and now we save it. Come on. Okay, let's say at last, now we have our Sarah created. Now we add a picture for Sarah, which is who is a patient. Add a picture for Sarah. Okay. And now phone number for Sarah. And then the discharge date. Now you can see that every field here that we just saw, every field is inside the code. Every field, all the field is inside. See, patients, we had a user, we had picture, phone number, admission date, discharge date, status, and yeah, so this was what we had. So let's continue in Chrome. So we have our phone number, and then discharge date, which we don't have a discharge date now. Let's mark it as true. Oh, sorry, we had admission date, but it isn't showing here. I don't know why. Let's go and find out why admission date is not showing. Go back to our code. Okay, because here we are having admission date, but it's not showing. Okay, now admission, now you see here I said date time field is equal to auto add. Now is true. It means it won't have to show, but it will add in an admission for us, like immediately when we hit on save, or immediately the patient logs in, it will be adding an admission date for the patient. So let's just make this as false to also just show it and optimize things. Okay, so let's say false. You know what, we don't need it now. Yeah, because Django should do it automatically for us, rather than maybe the doctor or anyone doing it for because you are coming and automatically you'll be admitted, right? So no matter what you want to do, if you want, you can change it to false, but I will be leaving it in true. So false means the field will show, but for you to put in the details. But true, Django automatically add it without you even seeing it happen, but Django automatically add it for us. So I believe in it as true. So if you change it, you have to run python-manage.py, make migrations, python-manage.py, make migration to add the changes you've made in models to your patient. So any change you make in your models.py, you have to add it to your migration by again saying python-manage.py, make migration, python-manage.py, migrate. So we don't need it because Django automatically do it for us. It's only, so let's say the patient was getting discharged this date, and the time the patient got admitted, and then we hit on enter. But we don't need this one because the patient is on admission. So we hit on save. We are going to get the same error. So let's see. Okay, they said this field is required. The reason why they said this field is required is because in our code, we said in our code, as you can see, everything is, there's nothing like blank. So if you want things not to be required, you can just say this, a comma, and then blank is equal to true. A char file, it means that if the patient doesn't have a phone number, leave it as blank. Don't bother the patient with a phone number. But if you don't type blank as true, it means that it will persist. Like they'll always have to. It will be a requirement. Like, hey, it's required for you to have a phone number for you to be able to process this or do that. So I'll just write blank for any of them because most patients won't be having phone numbers or phones. They won't even have pictures. So blank in your project are always advisable for you to always put them there because it's not anybody who can have what you are looking for from them. Okay, so as I said, we've changed or we've added something inside our models.py. So we'll now type Python. Anything you add in models.py, type this: Python manage.py make migrations. Okay, it takes time, but it's not supposed my PC is very running slow. Okay, I think now it's a little bit better. Okay, let's see what's here. They've created, see what we've added. They said we've added a field to status. See how beautiful it is. We've altered the picture in patients, which we did. We added a blank is equal to true because we don't require it. Like, it's not compulsory to have a picture. We said it's not compulsory to have a phone number. It's not compulsory to have a discharge date, and then it's not compulsory. Oh, sorry. Yeah, those were the fields we made. And then since we've written make migrate, we now type Python manage.py migrate. So make migrations always go with migrate. Just stick with that, and that's all. So enter. Now it's done. Python. We are running our development server. Python manage.py run server. Okay, as it runs, let's go back. And then refresh and see if they will still tell us required. This field is required. Okay, we've gotten an error and they're saying not constraint. Okay, what's happening here is either you delete your files in migrations or you leave them like that. So the best way is just head back to your code. Head back to your code editor. And when you are there, go to your migrations folder, and then you could delete the files in your migrations folder. Okay, there's glitching right now, and I really don't know what's happening to my PC today. Okay, you delete the files in your migrations folder by leaving the init.py. And immediately you've deleted them, you run migrations again. You run make migrations again, and then you migrate. Okay, now it has migrated and kept everything back to our database by migrating. Now we run our development server again. Now we go back and do our refresh again. Let's refresh and then start again. Sarah is a patient or the user who has already registered and logged in. We add a picture, or if you want we can leave the picture as blank, but for now let's add a picture. And then the phone number. Okay, not discharged yet. Let's mark as true. And then okay, let's just save it. Are we going to get an error? Let's solve it together. And they said same thing. They're saying clinic not null constraint failed. Patient does discharge. Okay, let's head to the code and let's see what's going on. Okay, where am I? Okay, for now, what happened in the doctor's own, we'll not have to face it again. So let me just add username to this, then we continue. Okay, they are telling us that there's they're saying that we can't leave this as empty. Okay, so it's either we create another model for discharging patients, or we'll accept patient, or really put a discharge date in it. Okay, so let's check on something here. So let's just comment this one out by hitting Control and backslash, and then we run our migrations again. Python manager can make migration. They said we've removed discharge date from patient, then migrate, and now we run our server. So this means that we will be creating another model for discharge, so that we can have every patient and they discharge in a different class or in a different window, so that anytime we go on discharge page or discharge, we will now see patients that have been discharged and their informations, just as we are to do in appointments, just as we did in appointments here, relating patients to their models here. The same way we can do as in discharge. We can just say class, discharge, can just say class discharge, and now we're writing, okay, these are all related to doctor patients and then the day they've been discharged and so forth. So we'll be doing this as we go along. So let's continue. It's loaded. Let's go back to our browser and then do our refresh. Sarah is a user. We add a picture. And then phone number, mark as true, which later on you see status or booleans in Django are very useful. And then we save it now. Okay, now our patient is saved. So let's continue. Appointment. Let's add an appointment. Okay, we are saying that a patient. So now you can see patients. Let's go to your code and let me show you one easy trick here. Okay, in our appointment we said patient is equal to the class, the foreign key to the class. Okay, patient, which accessed everything about the patient, and here we said the patient was unique because we used one-to-one fold. Okay, and then doctor also, we said doctor is equal to the foreign key doctor, and doctor too we use a one-to-one fold, which we said a doctor is unique. So back to our browser. Here we said, here Django has made it simple for they said patient, which we had earlier, which is mapping to Sarah as a patient. Remember we created patient for only Sarah, and the doctor was Emmanuel. So we are saying, okay, patient Sarah, you know what, let's create another patient to make this more understandable. Let's add another one. So in the future, you won't have to be pressing on add and adding it yourself. People will sign in, people will register into your website, onto your project. Those will all be automatically kept inside the users for in your Django admin panel. So you don't have to be doing all this. Everything will be provided for you. So let's add a new user saying done, and then password. Let's say and then we press on save. Now see this. Oh, we are creating a patient again. Okay, this is a patient is just one, so let's add one new patient, and it's done. And then the picture for Dan. Okay, Dan really looks like he's sick. And then the phone number for Dan. And then we save Dan as a patient. Now see this, Dan has been provided. So in the function, if we had said return self.user.email, email address would have been provided, not the username. But since we said self.user.username, that's why Dan as the username has been provided. So let's add an appointment. So in appointment, this is what is happening. We are saying that this patient, Dan, or let's say Sarah, they are all two patients now. So Dan or Sarah, let's say Sarah is having an appointment with Emmanuel as a doctor. So you see how easy and how simple this is. So if doctor was, okay, let's add another doctor for easy this thing. Picture for doctor. Picture for doctor. Do I have a picture for a doctor? Okay, let me just use this as the doctor. And then phone number, home address, and then the user, we don't have a new doctor. Let's say the new doctor is called Martha, and then the password, and then we save him or her, and now we save. Okay, now explain the appointment right now. See how easy appointment is. When we go back to our code, which we'll be seeing right now, in our code we said this was the code we've written for appointment, and we are saying appointment, a patient to reference the patient model who is unique. It means every patient is unique. So you have, if you can get any like individual patient by their characters, you get it. That's why we are saying the foreign key to relate the patient to the patient model. Okay, and doctor to, we are rating the doctor to the doctor model. Okay, and then the dates filled in. So that's what is happening here. Going back to our browser, this is what is happening. We are saying Sarah is having an appointment with a doctor called Martha. We are saying Sarah is having an appointment with a doctor called Emmanuel. Or Dan is having an appointment with a doctor called Martha. And yes, it's true. Or we can say no. Yes or no. So yes. So you can write, as I said, in the future, you get to know that status in the future is very useful and very, very, very easy to use and very useful. So we are saying now patient, doctor, and the doctor's name Martha. So we are saying Dan is having an appointment with Martha. So we save it. Let's add another one. Sarah is having an appointment with Emmanuel. Okay, now almost everything in the admin or everything is done now. So now we just have to write our views and then show what we now have here to, or what we've added or populated inside our database or in our admin panel to the end user, so that any user who will log in or register into our account can access whatever we want them to see. So now we have Sarah having an appointment with Emmanuel, Dan having an appointment with Martha, and then we're having patients and doctors as well. So now we'll be going forward and looking at views.py and how easy it is to work on views in views.py. So let's move back to our code editor, PyCharm. Okay, since now we are in our code editor, okay, if you are seeing this right now you can see doctor here, and I'm sure there will be a patient down, and we are seeing patients here. Why these folders here? Inside the folder there are pictures, right? So why, as I mentioned earlier, when we're creating the models, we said picture. We're saying Django, when you get the picture using your image field, upload it to patients pics. So Django automatically creates folders for us and then kept the pictures we've saved or we've gotten from the users. So these are the doctor's pictures and these are their patients' pictures. Okay, so let's continue. Now we've written our models.py, we've added things, and we've now seen our admin.py and our admin panel. Now it's time to write views, our front end, so that our end users can now see and access our hospital management system. If you understand anything or you have any question at this time, put it in the comments below. Ask any question you want, or I'll put my contact information in the description below for private contacting me or having a private conversation with me, and I'll be very happy to help you in anything that you want. So now we move forward to our views.py. Our views.py, who is in the clinic. So now our models.py now shows everything. Our models has everything in our database. Now we are going to our views.py. As usual, Django has given us our first import, which is the render. Now look at this. To write views.py, you can use functions or classes. When I made mention earlier, I said classes are most times in Python used to create as an inventor, or you're a god. Imagine yourself as a god and you are creating things. So classes, Django in its views and classes has made classes more easier to use and precise codes. So you don't have to write a lot of code when you are using classes. By using functions are more easier to understand than classes. So I'll be using functions in this tutorial. Okay, so starting views. When we're in models.py, I made mention that anything you want to put in the database, you put it in models.py. And then in our admin panel, I say anything you want to see in your admin panel, you put it in your admin.py. Now in views, anything you want to see on your browser, anything you want the end user to see or front end, you put it inside your views.py. Now writing the codes for views.py is very easy and very tricky too, so you pay attention as you go on. Okay, so writing views, you just write div as a function, and let's say home, and you write request, and then your column. For now we say return render request, and then your template, let's say clinic. We don't have this yet, we'll be creating it very soon. Home.html, and then the context, which will be very useful as we go on. So what this code is saying is we are creating a page. So these are pages we have created. This is a page we've created already. See how beautiful it is. Just a page, 2 lines of code, and we've created a page. And this is what is happening. We are saying a function as a page, or let's say a page, simple page, and then we are saying render. It means that when we go to this page, we want to render an HTML file called home.html. So that's how easy it is. Just make sure that anytime you are writing, just make sure that you add this and this. We'll be adding more things in the future. So the easiest explanation is when you go to home as a page, you want the home to render anything you have in your home.html. So how do we get the home.html? You go back to your clinic folder or your clinic app. In the app root, you go to new, and then you create a directory called clinic. Oh, okay. A little bit of, we first of all create a directory called templates. Let's drag this into our template. This is supposed to have come inside our clinic. Now we drag our clinic inside. Okay, this is what is happening. This you are seeing here right now is a folder. Okay, so that is a folder we've created here. And then inside the folder, we now have home.html. Remember, this clinic isn't the same as this clinic. The reason why I made it clinic as the same as this is because I want to be like, okay, inside this clinic app, we have home.html. So if I had like something like account, I would have written account inside there, and then the login and registration would have come into the account folder under templates. So that's why I just written clinic. So inside the clinic, we create another file, new, and then the new, you click on file and you write home.html. Okay, now you just write an h1 tag to test this one out. Let's say I am home page. if you are here right now, we've come a long way, but we aren't done yet, because we have in our views.py a page, and now we have an HTML file, which we are saying that when we go to this page, the page should render out everything or anything we have in our home.html. And ever since we've come into views.py, I've been mentioning when we go or when we enter into home.py as a page. But how do we get there? We'll be using, as Django gave us, urls.py, and we're able to access its admin panel by doing /admin. We want to go into our home by saying /home. Okay, so the easiest way, or one of the easiest ways, you can get here inside your urls.py, and then you add another path, calling it home.py. But it's more simpler to have another urls.py inside your app, so that you can now reference every URLs you are having here inside your project's urls.py. So we'll be creating another file here, adding it to this file called urls.py. So go to your app directory, and then Python file, then we call it urls. Now you see we now have admin, app, models, tests, urls.py, and views.py. So I always advise that anytime you are starting an app again in Django, make sure that one of the first files you have to be adding to the app is urls.py, because Django won't write it for you. So it's writing your own urls.py in your app is very easy and very recommended. For you to have an easy coding and an easy flow, get a file called urls.py in your app. Okay, now we continue. In your views.py, we are saying, hey Django, when you go to this when you go to this function, render out this page. So we want to make a link or a path or a URL that can link to our home. Okay, so urls.py, and inside our urls.py, our urls.py will be importing path from Django. So this is what Django used to give us a beautiful link or a beautiful path flow in our project. So from Django.urls, import path. And now this is what Django is giving us. Okay, from Django also have a URL, just as how we have a URLs, and then another URLs in their main project. Django also have URLs and other URLs. So you see how optimizing it is right now. Even Django has it, so we also have to have it. Okay. So if you've written this code from Django.urls import path, we now say from .views, it means from our views, from our main directory, views, imports. If you've written star, it means that everything in the views. But if you want, you can write the home if you want. But I'll just write the star to mean that everything. That means that we don't have to come and rewrite anytime we have something in views. Write it here, put a comma. Write it here, put a comma. Write it here, put a comma. That one is headache, and I don't like plenty work. So I'll just write start to show that import everything inside views. So anything inside views, this star here will import everything. Okay, so now let's continue. Then you write this simple code, URL pattern, URL patterns is equal to, then you write path, the path Django has given us, and then we are saying that, hey Django, this is the link you have to, you can say home slash comma views home then comma, and then the name, you just say name is equal to, and then you say home. This means that you can now use this name here in your HTML or in your templates, anywhere in your templates to access home. Okay, so it's always advisable again to be writing names in your urls.py, then comma, that's if you were to add other links here. So if you've written this, see what's happening. Let's continue. Let's go to our browser. Let's reload our server, our development server. Python-manage.py run server, and we head back to our browser. Which is loading. So wait for it to load. It delays, so we wait for it. We wait for it to load. Okay, it's now loaded. Let's go to our browser. And now we type in /home. You remember in our apps url.py we've made, we said when we go to /home, we should be able to render the home and then the HTML file which we made HTML home.html. Let's type on enter and see what's happening. Now see what's happening here. They said page not found. When you see page not found, it means that the page is really not found. So we head back to our code, and then we see this. When we've written, now you see here, this is our app, and then we've made a urls.py in our app. To avoid writing a lot of code in our project's urls.py, okay, so to be able to access the URLs inside our app, because our app has already gotten URLs, but now our project knows about our app because we registered this inside install apps, but our URLs doesn't know of the URLs we've created inside our app. So we have to now list the URLs inside of the urls.py in our project. Okay, so now you write this simple line, path, and we are saying a slash. You can add it or you can leave it, comma, and then we add includes. We have to get from Django, which automizes things so that you wanting to write a lot of things, comma, include. Okay, now we can use include, and now we say our app clinic. See how easy it is. Our app clinic dot its URLs, or the URLs inside our app clinic, else. That's it. So we said, hey Django, when you go to your home page, or a slash is linking to our app URLs. Okay, so if you have another app called maybe accounts, you can just be like, okay, hey Django, with your path, if the user goes to accounts slash and accounts, comma, include, and then the account app, if we had it, would have been like, okay, accounts, inside account we'll be having urls.py. So inside accounts URLs, import everything or get everything. So that's what they include. They include like get everything from accounts URL, or the app you've created is URLs, gets everything there, and any slash you do should link to the slash inside of the app URL you are getting from the app. And right now we don't have anything about app or anything about accounts. We only have one app called clinic. So now we'll let our development server to load again. We head back to our browser. Okay, I was just notified that again I didn't change screen, so I'll change screen and then restate everything again. So when I explained, I said our project knows everything about our clinic, but you have to register the URLs of your app inside urls.py. Okay, and when you register everything in urls.py, all these links will be kept inside your project's urls.py, because your project urls.py doesn't know anything about the URLs you've created, even though your settings.py or your project might know, but your URLs doesn't know. So anytime we are going to a slash this slash that, your urls.py does know, because that's what offers the slashes. Okay, so you come to urls.py, import includes inside urls.py, which from Django, and then you write, you say path empty strings, or you can add a slash, meaning home. This means like home, or your home direct, or your home slash, or your home link. Include, the include simply means import everything or get everything from clinic's urls.py, or get everything from the app you've installed urls.py. Okay, so when you do that, you let your development server to run again. If it doesn't run, simple type python-manage.py run server, it will run. You head over to your browser, and now in our browser we type this, we type our home again to see, since now we have our clinic urls.py inside of our projects urls.py, and now our project urls.py knows that a slash that has home is a page, it will render it. So let's see whether it's going to happen. So let's see, home/home. Let's see, and boom, now we have our home HTML rendering. You remember in the HTML, in our views.py, we simply said, when you go to this page, show this HTML file. Okay, so when we go back to our HTML file and we say I am HTML, and then I will say, let's say a p tag, and say, or let's say an h3 tag, and say I love Django because Django is easy. Let's get back to our browser and then we refresh to see what's happening. Wow, see how beautiful it is. I am HTML, so it means that anything you write in views.py and then you say render, you are saying Django. When you go to this function that we've written, render the HTML we are about to write, and then you write your HTML and then you show it. Is that easy? If that's easy, and if you've grasped everything, please smash the subscribe button right now, like the video, and quickly share it with family and friends, and to whoever you think the video might be helpful to. And if you have any question, comment below or contact me with my contact information in the description below. So let's continue. Now we have our home displaying a simple HTML text. Now the question is, how do we display our doctor, patient, and appointments? And how do users really register into our website or our hospital management system? Or how do we actually make front end in Django? So that's what we're about to do in the next video.